Peace and love, my friends. Thanks for being here this morning. Thanks for participating in the chat. I would just want to make a special welcome to our new friend who showed up today. I'm skimming up here, make sure I pronounce your name right. Gina. Hi, Gina. Thanks for being here. Oh, that's probably a little loud for you. Turn the birds down. All right. Probably should just shut them off. Left those guys, though. So, peace, my dear soul friends. And welcome once again to the Not Church Experiment, where we gather in the name of the mystery and truth, East and West, ancient and ever new and present. No doctrine, no dogma, just a living breath of wisdom with a capital W moving through us, within us, among us. Today's title is Thunder, Paradox, and the Perfect Mind, a revelation from the Divine Feminine. Today, I bring you a thunderclap, a voice from the sands of Egypt, hidden for nearly 2,000 years, waiting for our ears and our hearts to awaken to its unveiled voice. Now, this voice is not from a priest, not from a prophet, not even from a disciple, but from the divine presence speaking in poetry and paradox. A lot of paradox. She is the I am of the thunder and the silence. And she is the thunder perfect mind. Let's spend a moment here and gather ourselves and our hearts together in a bit of silent meditation, centering prayer before we begin. So let me say her name once again. The Thunder Perfect Mind. You can look it up. It's on, you can Google it, The Thunder Perfect Mind. You'll find copies of it. It's very brief. She speaks from a scroll, a Codex scroll, discovered in 1945 near Nag Hammadi, the Nag Hammadi Tell, which is a mound of material in Egypt, alongside other ancient and mystical texts buried by early followers of what was then called the Way of Christianity, one of the branches of Christianity, and possibly buried there to protect them, all those things, books in that tell, from destruction. Because, Christians have a history of destroying books. I don't know if you know this. They got into destroying books because if you destroy books, if you prevent people from reading what you don't want them to know, then they don't know it. They even burned the entire library of Alexandria. And that's something that continues until today. But all right, so these texts, they were hidden away so that they wouldn't be destroyed. And the words are ancient. They're written in Coptic and likely, probably translated from Greek and potentially maybe inspired by the Aramaic or Egyptian myth of her, of what myth? The myth, oh, well, forget that part. I'm blanking on what it is. So there you go. Okay, anyway, her voice, but it was maybe even started and written in Aramaic. We don't really know. Yet her voice is new each time we hear it, and it awakens us. That's the whole point, to help us awaken. And so the divine feminine speaks in this codex. What's a codex? It's like a book, okay? But it's on papyri, and it's called a codex. So the speaker's identity, we don't know who she is. She's a mystery, and she describes herself as the I am. That's familiar language to us. The I am, language familiar from Exodus and also from the Gospel of John. The I am statements, I am the bread of life, I am the way, the truth, and the life, I am what I am who I am. But this divine I am reaches even deeper and wider. She says, here's a quote, I am the first and the last. I am the whore and the Holy One. I am the wife and the virgin. I am the bride and the bridegroom. What is this voice? She is neither nor. She is both and. She exists beyond categorizations, beyond duality. She contains all opposites within herself. She is holy, yes, but she fears no scorn. She isn't above contradiction. She is contradiction, transformed into a revelation for us. She may be Sophia, the Greek name for wisdom. She may be the spirit hovering over the waters in Genesis, the breath. She may be the voice of the Shekinah, the indwelling presence of the divine. She may be Isis. There we go with the myths. Kali. She may, or even be the feminine side of God, forgotten in the mythologies and in Orthodoxy. I know that God is oneness, but the way we've approached God has been male and female. And those categories can be helpful to us, but of course, the divine has no gender. But we have genders, and 6 of them according to science. But God has no gender, has the divine, the love, the beloved has no structure as we can conceive it. And so mythology is developed around the male and the female. And mythology, just to let you, as a reminder, it's a myth is a story that tells the truth with a capital T without necessarily and most likely being true, not being true. So this is how we tell our stories. We tell our stories and our categories and our metaphors in order to understand the thing, the ineffable that isn't understandable. So today we're talking about the divine feminine. And it's not just in the West. Here's an echo from the East. The paradoxical presence evokes the Hindu goddess of Kali, who is both destroyer and the mother of time, the creator of time. She embodies the cyclical nature of existence, encompassing creation, preservation, and dissolution. This is what we're finding in the Thunder Perfect Mind. I am the whore and the virgin. How can you be both? Because the I am is all that there is. She is the I am, and the I am is also you. Heaven is within us, and me, and us. And she speaks from within the margins, right inside the margins, and from exile, outside. She speaks from the hidden place, the mystery with a capital M. She says, do not look upon me as the dung heap. She says, and you will find me in the kingdoms. I am both dung and kingdom. Kingdom. I never thought of that. I am both dung and queendom. I am both the outhouse and the palace. This is metaphorical, mystical speech. It's not linear. It's not logical. It's luminous. It's language of the paradox, which is the native tongue of the soul and heaven. Because in heaven, paradox is everything. I was both consciousness and divine at the same time. Both and neither. Not neither, but together and, how am I saying this? Together and separate. That's what I mean to say. Together and separate. Paradox. She says, I am knowledge and ignorance. I am shame and boldness. I am strength and I am fear. And now this might seem confusing, which is why we're doing this overview, but it's not confusion. It's unification. I am both things. This is the message for the mystic heart, not the calculating mind. She isn't trying to be clear in a worldly sense. She's aiming to be real in the cosmic sense. She's drawing us beyond categories, beyond forms, into the heart of the mystery. Jesus spoke in parables. They stretch to break the mind. Koans do the same thing. They stretch us to break the mind and land us in the heart. The spiritual journey isn't a ladder. It's It's not a straight climb. You go to A, you go to B, you go to C. It's like a spiral filled with ascents and descents. It's like a frequency wave on the ascent, but on the ascent and descent at the same time. Get this up and down and up and down. One was it? I can't remember who the mystic is talking about Jacob's ladder. You're on the top rung and you're on the third rung. You're on the fourth rung. You're on the first rung. You're on the rungs below the rung, and you're bouncing around. It's not a direct ascent. It's a rising and a falling. It's a paradox in that way. And in this voice, the thunder is the voice of transformation, the both and, the wholeness, the oneness, the healing, the brokenness, the separation, and the multitude. And it encompasses all of our parts, even the ones we try to banish or hide. And there are other echoes and other traditions. The Bhagavad Gita has Krishna proclaiming, I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all things. How can you be all of those things? Because of paradox, because it encompasses all that there is, pluses and minuses. Just as Krishna reveals his divine contradictions, so does the voice of thunder. I should say, the voice of thunder. Similarly, in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 45, the unnameable name declares, the unspeakable name declares, I am form, I am the light, I form the light, I form the light and I create the darkness. I am the darkness, I am the light, I form the light, I create the darkness. I make peace and create calamity. I, the ineffable, do all these things. I am both. And these paradoxes, they're not errors. They are windows into the mystery, into the I am, which is all things. Because nothing exists outside the divine. And that may hurt us to hear that. Because that includes all of the good and the bad in our lives. And we might not like it. We may shake our fist at heaven. We may question our suffering. And we may be peeved. Peeved. I'm peeved at God. Peeved, mad, hurt. We might feel anger at heaven for the wounds we suffer and the wounds of those we love who suffer. But we're not alone in this. Human beings are this teeny micron-sized thing, like a whisper. Because at the center of our Milky Way galaxy, which is only 26,000 light years away from us, lies this supermassive black hole named Sagittarius A. And although currently rather quiet and only consuming dust, it's likely that it previously consumed entire star systems and stars and everything in between. And you know that everything that falls into a black hole, from which not even light can escape, is destroyed. A current hypothesis sees the black holes as cosmic wombs, birthing a new universe inside them. And theories like the loop quantum gravity theory, black holes don't end in singularities, which they may, we don't know. They might end, instead, they might end when they reach this minimum volume on the Planck scale, then bounce outward, forming new space-time regions like the Big Bang. Some bold theorists, including this fellow named Nikodem Poplawski, suggest that our entire universe, this was in the news just a couple of weeks ago, may be in the interior of a black hole as a parent universe. Black holes consume and destroy, yet they might consume and create. They are both creation and destruction. And it's not just us little tiny humans. It's the structure of the whole thing, the Big Bang. Everything created, everything destroys. Without this paradox here, this place would not exist. This would not be this universe. We need this for this universe to exist. Otherwise, unity is just, well, not just, but beautiful heaven, bliss, and perfection. But here, this works as a metaphor for the perfect thunder mind. The black holes may destroy and create. And our suffering just isn't ours. It's the chickadee outside that got caught by the broad-wing hawk last week. I saw, boom. That's all of us, even plants. And from supermassive black holes to the suffering of a harbor seal being torn apart by a great white shark right out there, solely acting on what evolution dictates, the shark's just being the shark. The suffering and the destruction, it's really not personal. But of course, it feels personal because pain is always experienced in this deeply private way. No one experiences our pain. We can empathize and sympathize, but when you break a bone, yeah, that freaking hurts. And as kind as the people are around you, they can't feel that. They might catch the radiation of your emotional upset, but they can't really feel your broken bone. The I am is in all things. What does that mean? Creation and destruction. Creation and destruction. It's a universal structure that includes us. And in my first near-death experience, I saw this little tiny golden light woven through the entire universe, every single molecule, every single photon, every single thing that exists as a thing, wave and particle, matter and energy, appearing as a speck of shining gold dust, all woven together and symbolizing the hearts of all human beings and living beings, because I could see it inside every one of us. Inescapable and fundamental. At the core of our being, way beyond paradox, is the light itself. And this includes people showing compassion and kindness, as well as those behaving with cruelty and who remain blind to their true selves. What's inside of you is what is outside of you, she says. The one who fashions you on the outside is the one who shaped the inside of you. This isn't psychology. It's mystical theology. She speaks to this ancient principle and truth of as within, so without. It's not as simple as above, so below, because there's like a filter through here, right? But in the core of our being, as above, so below. Beyond the veil, beyond the paradox. So she speaks to this principle, this truth, as above, so below, as within, so without. She speaks to those who seek the divinity far away, and those who look for it in the clouds or in doctrines. She says, look in your shame, and I am there. Look in your greatness, and I am there too. This is what the mystics always teach, that the divine is not limited to our good ideas, our ideas of good, our ideas of clean or pure or holy. This is how Jesus could love his enemies. The divine is present in the broken, the raw, the wild, and the exiled. And we may not want it this way. We may shake our fist at fucking heaven. Why? Because this universe exists in this dichotomy of creation and destruction. And without that economy, it wouldn't exist at all. And so that plus and minus exists everywhere we look. And if we have eyes to see and ears to hear and feelings to touch, we can perceive the heaven inside as well. Inside and outside, within and among. She says, I am the one whom they call life with a capital L, and you have called me death with a capital D. I am the one whom they call law, and you have called lawlessness. In Zen Buddhism, the master says, when you meet the Buddha, kill him. When you meet the Buddha on the street, kill him. Whew, it was a shocking thing to say, shocking to read the first time I read it. But what does it mean? Don't cling to appearances, not even holy ones. Like the thunder, these traditions push us beyond our false certainties. This thunder doesn't always shake you to frighten you. It shakes us to awaken us. And I've been shook recently. And this voice, it calls to us. You who are waiting for me, take me to yourselves. Don't banish me from your sight. Take me to yourselves. She asks us to stop separating, stop shaming, stop pretending. She urges us to embrace the contradictions within ourselves and within others, to stop labeling who's holy and who's profane, who's in and who's out, and instead recognize that the nameless one, the light, the one traditionally called God, Allah, Allah, Brahman, resides in both the profane and the sacred. Jesus, Yeshua, preached loving our enemies, didn't he? But how, we ask? By experientially understanding the message of the thunder perfect mind in our souls. Through dedicated meditation practice, such an experience can be cultivated. It opens the eyes to see, the fingers and the heart to feel, and the ears to hear, the living light inside all things, including our disappointments. She calls to those who are exiled. Come forward to childhood. Don't despise it because it is small. Become like a child, Jesus said. Take me from the places that are ugly and in ruin. Rob from those which are good, even though in ugliness. She calls us to humility, to heart, to mystery, to healing. And although it's beautiful poetry, it's not just poetry, it's practice and practical. It's a call to live in wholeness, to stop dividing the sacred from the profane, the body from the soul, the outhouse from the palace, the feminine from the masculine, the intellect from the intuition. The thunder perfect mind is the mother of all opposites. And she births a new kind of seeing, this mystical vision where everything belongs. When one sees this, one sees heaven here now. Heaven becomes who you are. And so here's the invitation for you this week. As much as you can, because we're human, embrace your contradictions. Befriend your shame and failures. Let the silence speak, for its voice is clearest. And let the thunder guide. And always remember what Julian of Norwich, the Christian mystic, wrote. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. This expresses the truth of heaven above and below when contradictions and paradoxes exist in the oneness. Even when it appears that destruction is in control. Julian also embraced this paradox. The wound creating the healing, the sin and the grace. There is no between, she says, and she's right. In Meister Eckhart's sermons, we hear, and I've said this 100 times, the eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees me. Jesus said, make your eye single, and your body will be filled with light. These mystics understood what the thunder proclaims: separation is an illusion. And when you're weak, know that she is there. When you feel cast out, she is there. When you are confused, grieving, or lost, know that her voice still speaks. I am the one who cries out, and I listen. I am the one who is called truth and iniquity. Here's our conclusion: thunder and silence. She ends her revelation in silence even as she speaks. I am a mute who does not speak, and great is the multitude of words. She is the thunder and the silence. She is God before and beyond our concepts of God. She is the invitation we find that has been hidden in plain sight. So listen, my dear soul friends, not just with your ears, but with the ear of your heart. Hear the thunder in your own mind. Hear the silence that follows, and take her into yourself. Amen. Amin. Om Shanti. Aho. So mote it be. And may you walk today in wholeness. Peace. We only have about 4 minutes before the top of the hour, but be sure to join us at Mystic Tea Salon at the top of the hour. The link is in the description. And when we get there, let's briefly discuss our upcoming retreat, which will follow the IANS conference at the Hilton Chicago Oak Brook Hills Resort and Conference Center over Labor Day weekend in Chicago. You can check out IANS, IANDS.org. And I have two significant announcements to share with you today at Mystic Tea. And I'd like to share with you a mystical experience, if we have time, that occurred this week with Noah from the telepathy tapes. Yeah, I had a conversation with that fellow this week, thanks to, well, I'll tell you all about it. We'll see you soon. Thanks for your support. I'll look for the chat for just a second, see what happened. Then we're going to go right to Mystic Tea Salon. Oh, you had a lot of great comments over here. I wish I could have had enough time to. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. I'll see you in a couple minutes. Peace and love, everybody.